On June 25, 1982, at El Molinón Stadium in Gijón, Spain, West Germany beat Austria 1-0 in a World Cup match that looked ordinary on paper. 1 goal, 2 points, both teams moving on. But what happened on that pitch became one of the most infamous moments in football history. To many fans, especially Algerian supporters watching their team get eliminated without touching the ball that day, it did not feel like sport. It felt like a bargain. The match would become known in English as the Disgrace of Gijón, in German as the Non-Aggression Pact of Gijón, and in French as the Shameful Match. Its legacy is bigger than one result. It forced FIFA to rethink how World Cup group stages are scheduled. To understand why this match caused such outrage, you have to start with the structure of the 1982 World Cup. The tournament used a group stage where teams did not always play their final matches at the same time. That meant one team could finish its group games before the others, leaving the remaining teams with perfect knowledge of the exact result they needed. In theory, this was just a scheduling detail. In practice, it created a dangerous incentive. If two teams could both qualify with a certain score, neither had much reason to risk changing it. Group 2 became the perfect example of how a poorly designed format could turn competitive football into a calculation exercise. The team most hurt by this flaw was Algeria. In 1982, Algeria arrived at its first ever World Cup and was not expected to shake the tournament. Their opening opponent was West Germany, one of the giants of the game, two-time World Cup champions and reigning European champions. Many observers assumed Germany would win comfortably. Instead, Algeria produced one of the great shocks in World Cup history, beating West Germany 2-1. It was not just a lucky result. Algeria played with confidence, speed, and courage, showing that they belonged on the world stage. That victory instantly changed the group and made qualification possible for a team few had taken seriously. After that famous win, Algeria's path became more complicated. They lost 2-0 to Austria, a damaging result that gave Austria control of the group. But Algeria responded by beating Chile 3-2 in their final match. That left them with 2 wins from 3 games, an achievement that should have made qualification a realistic reward. The problem was timing. Algeria had played its last match a day before West Germany and Austria met. So Algeria could only watch. They knew the remaining game had a very specific danger. If West Germany beat Austria by 1 or 2 goals, both European teams would advance, and Algeria would be eliminated on goal difference. The mathematics created the controversy before the match even began. West Germany needed to win, because a draw or a loss could eliminate them. Austria, however, could afford a narrow defeat. A German win by fewer than 3 goals was the sweet spot. West Germany would recover from its opening defeat, Austria would still survive, and Algeria would be pushed out. A bigger German win would put Austria in danger. Any other result could eliminate West Germany. So both teams entered the match knowing the safest shared outcome. This is what made the game so explosive. The issue was not that a 1-0 result was impossible or illegal. The issue was that it benefited both teams so perfectly. Early in the match, West Germany scored. Horst Hrubesch put them 1-0 up after about 10 minutes, and at that point the result both teams needed was already in place. For a short time, the game still had movement and pressure. But as the match went on, especially in the second half, the intensity drained away. West Germany did not appear desperate to add more goals, because doing so could endanger Austria. Austria did not appear desperate to equalize, because doing so could endanger themselves and rescue Algeria. What remained was a strange, cautious, low-risk passing exercise. To viewers expecting a World Cup fight, it looked like both sides had quietly agreed that enough had happened. The crowd understood what was happening in real time. Many spectators in the stadium, including Algerian fans, reacted with anger. Reports from the match describe whistles, boos, and chants as the audience became convinced the teams were no longer seriously competing. Some fans shouted accusations. Others waved money, suggesting the match had been bought, even if no proof of a formal arrangement existed. The emotional force of the reaction mattered because it showed that the scandal was not invented later by historians. People watching live felt the sporting contest had collapsed. The players may have been following rational incentives, but to the crowd, rationality looked like betrayal. This is why the match has so many names. In English, it is the Disgrace of Gijón. In German, it has been called the Non-Aggression Pact of Gijón or the Shame of Gijón. In Algeria, it is remembered as the Scandal of Gijón. In French, the phrase the shameful match captures the moral tone of the reaction. Some even used the dark satirical label Anschluss, referencing Nazi Germany's annexation of Austria in 1938, a comparison that showed just how bitter and politically charged the anger became. The different names all point to the same idea: this was not remembered as a tactical stalemate. It was remembered as two teams protecting a mutually useful score. Algeria lodged a formal complaint after being eliminated, arguing that the match had undermined the fairness of the tournament. But FIFA ruled that neither West Germany nor Austria had broken the rules. That ruling is important, because it gets to the heart of the scandal. There was no need to prove a secret deal in a hotel room or a direct agreement between players. The rules themselves had created a situation where both teams could serve their own interests by refusing unnecessary risk. In a strict legal sense, FIFA could say no regulation had been violated. In a sporting sense, millions of viewers could still say the competition had failed. The controversy also touched a deeper question in football: what does a team owe to the game once its own objective is secure? Teams often slow the pace when a result suits them. They pass defensively, waste time, protect leads, and manage risk. That is normal football strategy. But Gijón felt different because both teams benefited from the same frozen score, and a third team, Algeria, paid the price. The match exposed the line between game management and competitive distortion. Even if every individual action could be defended tactically, the total picture looked wrong. Football depends not only on written rules, but on the belief that every match is honestly contested. FIFA could not undo Algeria's elimination, but it did change the future. After the 1982 World Cup, the governing body revised the scheduling of group stages so that the final matches in each group would be played simultaneously. This became one of the most important anti-manipulation reforms in World Cup history. If two matches happen at the same time, teams cannot know with certainty what exact result they need based on a completed game elsewhere. Scores can still shift, strategies can still change, but the opportunity for a calm pre-calculated pact becomes much harder. The rule did not make football perfectly fair, but it closed the loophole that Gijón had exposed so dramatically. The Disgrace of Gijón remains powerful because it was not a scandal of hidden complexity. It was simple enough for everyone to see: Algeria had done enough to dream, West Germany and Austria knew the numbers, one early goal created the perfect score, and the match slowly died. In the record books, West Germany won 1-0 and both European teams advanced. In football memory, Algeria became the victim of a format that rewarded calculation over competition. The lasting lesson is that tournament design matters. Rules do not just punish bad behavior, they shape incentives. And when the incentives are wrong, even the world's biggest stage can produce a match nobody wants to remember, but football can never afford to forget. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.